Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Well, seeing how it is still Nickelodeon month. Indeed. I think it's time that we look over another element of Nickelodeon's success, the sitcoms, or as I like to call them, the Nickcoms. These are the live-action comedies that try to deal with kids' problems the same way primetime comedies try to deal with adult problems. They were creative, entertaining, and funny. Well, okay, maybe not exactly funny, but certainly inventive. You couldn't get these shows out of your head no matter how hard you tried. God knows we tried. So, rather than mock these shows, let's take a look at how these shows help put Nickelodeon on the map. Let's start with one of their very first Nickcoms, You Can't Do That on Television. Though technically not made by Nickelodeon Studios, You Can't Do That on Television played a big part in helping give Nickelodeon its identity. It was a sketch show like Saturday Night Live or SCTV that had recurring characters and usually a theme that tied them together. For example, if the subject was romance, every joke in the show would have to be about romance. And if the subject was mediocre, underwhelming comedic writing, you'd pretty much have every single episode ever written. Watch this if you don't believe me.
What is it? You look so happy.
Mom, it was love at first sight.
I know exactly how you feel, dear. It was love at first sight when I met your father.
The show aired on Nickelodeon, but got its start in America's humble neighbors to the north, Canada. Which means you always hear my favorite mispronunciation. It's about, you socially polite freaks! It's about A-B-O-U-T, not A-B-O-O-T! Stop saying a boot! This is a boot! That is about. A boot, about, a boot, about, a boot, about. Get it right! Every week they would perform in front of an entire audience of recorded laughter, and they would often have reoccurring characters and setups, like the firing squad, the dungeon, and the dysfunctional family. Just the upbeat, child-friendly scenarios that we're used to. Something you may have noticed is that all the adults are played by just two people, Christine McGlade and Les Lyle, who did the majority of the roles, jumping from fatsuit to fatsuit. I have nothing against this guy, but I don't know. Tell me if some of these jokes seem a little creepy nowadays. Like when he plays Blip, the arcade repairman.
The ideal man for you is Blip?
Okay.
Alright, come on. Get out of that costume.
Oh-ho.
I am madly in love with you.
Oh, God.
Would you please go out to dinner with me?
It was a different time. I don't think you have to worry much, though. Most people like to know what kind of gender you are before they start hitting on you, and these kids were often very hard to sort out one from the other. In fact, I often like to play a game at home I like to call Boy or Girl! Alright, let's take a look at our first subject. Short hair suggests male, but the fluffiness of it suggests female. Lack of makeup is more masculine, but then again, those shorts leave very little to the imagination. I'm gonna say boy. I got it! Alright, next one. Long hair covers the ears, but kind of a boyish shirt. I think ultimately I'm gonna go with girl. Alright, I'm gonna have to make it up in the final round. Next subject. Oh my God. I have no idea. Well, the long hair, of course, is feminine, but the lack of any fashion sense is masculine. The earrings, I guess, are a little girlish, but everything else... I'm gonna have to use one of my lifelines. I'm going to call a friend. Hey, Joe! Get over here!
What?
Get over here!
What?
The fuck is that?
I don't know.
What, don't you have a clue?
Could be a dude.
Yeah, but look at the earrings!
Yeah, but look at the glasses.
Alright. I'm gonna say boy. It has to be a boy. What? It's a girl? Oh, bullshit! No, that's unbelievable!
No, I don't know what that is. What is that?
Look at it!
What is
It looks like a mix between Bill Gates and Velma from Scooby-Doo! What a ripoff!
Oh, that is
Aside from finding gender loopholes, the show mostly told a lot of lame jokes that even most younger kids knew weren't exactly that funny.
Hey, Vanessa. Yeah, Lisa? What do you think about computer dating? I think it would be pretty boring. Boring? Why? Well, who wants to go out with a computer?
You see, if they wanted to make it like a real locker room, they throw in some real high school problems. Like, hey Christine. Yes, Alistair? Did you hear that Vanessa got pregnant? Wow, I wonder if she's gonna keep it or abort it. Is abortion even legal in Canada? I I don't know. With our healthcare, anything is possible. Hey, Doug! Yes, Vanessa? Is this just a cheap ripoff of Laughing? I'm just praying I have a career after this show. That would have been more realistic. Actually, the ironic thing is, for a show called You Can't Do That on Television, it's pretty friggin' tamed. Especially considering that most of the things here they are doing on television. I mean, seriously, things that you can't do on television would look like this. You see? It's nothing. Because you can't do it on television! Okay, for as much as I bad-talk this show, it did start a lot of iconic ideas for Nick. Like the idea of having kids be the star of their own sketch show. The idea that a show with mostly dialogue won't bore kids to death. And of course, the always classic... Yep, that's right. This was the first show to introduce that frog diarrhea known as Nickelodeon slime, which dropped down on the kids every single time they said the phrase, "I don't know." Well, that's kind of random. That's like saying every time I say the word elephant, the Burger King will appear. God, he's creepy. Well, let's jump to the next show in our Nickcoms lineup, Clarissa Explains It All. This show actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't that funny, but did have something kind of likable about it. Now granted, I didn't grow up as a girl, for long. I have a history. But this show did pretty good at keeping both girls and boys interested in the program. What was it about? A teenage girl. And that's about it. Pretty much just a teenage girl.
Adventure Home!
Hey, come on, that's not very nice. Actually, its star, Melissa Joan Hart, was really what held this show together. It's a shame, because she's always casted in a bunch of kid shit, but I really don't think she was that bad of an actress. But there were other characters on the show, too. Most notably her kid brother, Ferguson, who was determined to make her life a living hell. For the longest time, I thought he was just one of those ventriloquist dummies, but then I found out there was a real actor who played him. Then there's her dopey best friend, Sam, who, for some reason, always enters and leaves through the window.
Why doesn't that kid ever use the door?
That's a legitimate question. Why doesn't he ever use the door? Then there's her parents, who seem rather comfortable with the fact that their daughter is a weird psychological train wreck.
Come on, sport, it's time for dinner.
The sooner I just give up on her, the better. She spends a lot of her time chatting it up with Sam, talking to the camera, and making video games usually about indulging her fantasies. Like any of us have ever done something like that, make a video game indulging our fantasies. Alright, mine is called Robo Penis Muscle Ninja. I just played it in my spare time. By looking at the fashions, you can tell that this was made around the time when the 80s were trying to die and the 90s were trying to define themselves in that they have no original way of defining themselves. But let's be honest, what we all remember from this show is the theme song. That goddamn theme song. What is it with these 90s shows and having all the lyrics be nothing but do's, da's, and na's? It's just like that other show that shall not be mentioned. Every time I heard this song, I could never get it out of my head. Why couldn't they invent an opening that had a song that was annoying, but not the least bit memorable? Like... Hey, dude. Hey, dude. Ah, yes, the show that taught us that if you think your life at home was boring, at least you weren't working on an insufferable horse ranch. I mean, for a show having to deal with looking after a ranch in Arizona with horses and everything, this was a really boring show. I mean, just listen to how cool the opening sounds.
Better watch out for those man-eating jackrabbits and that killer cacti.
Man-eating jackrabbits? Good! Fuck, this sounds cool! So tell me, what's our first adventure?
I'm starting to turn into my father.
Wow! So the show takes place on the Bar None Dude Ranch, run by Rick Moranis' clone, Mr. Erst.
Jake.
Flintstone! The rest of the characters are teenagers who deal with real exciting adventures. Like, who drew this picture of me? Are we allowed to ski on the dirt? And who am I gonna leave in charge while I'm gone?
You better leave the keys here with somebody. Who's it gonna be?
Well, Mr. Ernst, if I may suggest, perhaps you should choose someone that has proven herself or himself to be responsible, good leadership skills, and excellent knowledge of horses.
I think you're both right. Danny?
No!
No?
I'm the riding instructor.
I'm senior staff. All right, fine, then. It'll be one of you two. You decide.
No!
No?
You have to decide, Mr. E.
Yeah, Mr. Ernst.
I'll flip a coin, Heads, Ted is in charge. Tails, Bradley.
I wanted heads.
Bradley, please, let's just get this over with. Oh. Hang on. It went underneath the Jeep.
Just say